Ladies and gentlemen, the irony of life. How it twists and turns, doesn't it? They thought they could treat you like you were disposable, like your love was a cheap trinket they could toss aside when it suited them. But life has a funny way of turning the tables, doesn't it? Now they stand at the mercy of the same cruelty they once so freely dished out to you. Once the masters of indifference, they now find themselves on the receiving end of it. Once the ones who decided your worth, they now measure their own in the same cold currency of disregard. The very ones who tore you down in the past, who mocked your pain, who spat on your kindness, who believed they could move on from you without a second thought, they now find themselves crawling in the dirt. They once pushed you into their pride, their arrogance now crushed under the weight of their own actions. It's almost poetic, don't you think? The way the universe balances the scales sometimes. They played their games. They thought they were above it all. But they didn't count on this, did they? They didn't count on you standing tall. They didn't count on you enduring when they thought you would break. They didn't count on your strength, your resilience. Now, as they face the consequences of their own cruelty, they begin to see what they could have had, but discarded without a second glance. They begin to see the value in you, the value in what they lost, and they realize a little too late that what they once had was something irreplaceable, something far more precious than they ever understood. The games they played with you, the manipulation, the heartless disregard, they thought it would make them stronger. They thought they could use you and move on without consequence. But that's the thing about mistreating others, isn't it? It always comes back. It always comes back. And when it does, it's a reflection of the exact same way they treated you. The truth is, the cruelest part about their mistreatment wasn't just the hurtful words or the cold actions. It was the belief that they could walk away from it without facing the reality of what they had done. But now reality has a way of catching up with you, doesn't it? It doesn't matter how many times they convince themselves that they were justified in their actions. The truth always rises to the surface, and it has a voice. It's louder than their excuses, louder than their lies. They thought you would stay in the shadows forgotten and broken, but they were wrong. You didn't break. You didn't crumble under the weight of their cruelty. You took it, and you used it to fuel your rise. You transformed the hate they gave you into strength, and now you walk forward stronger than ever before while they remain stuck in the trap they set for themselves. They treated you as though you were nothing, as though you didn't matter, and now they stand in front of a mirror, shattered by the very same indifference they once showed you. The universe is cruel, but it is also just, and there is no greater justice than seeing those who once abused their power face the consequences of their actions. And let me tell you this, the ones who mistreated you, they thought they could get away with it. They thought they were immune to the pain they caused. But life doesn't forget. No one is immune to the consequences of their own choices. They will never know peace until they come face to face with the realization of what they have done. You see, mistreatment doesn't just affect the victim. It has a ripple effect. It comes back on the one who caused it. And when it does, it's like a tidal wave of regret crashing down on them, the same way they looked down on you, the same way they belittled you. Those eyes will one day look upon their own actions with the same disdain they once showed you. And when that happens, when they finally realize that the world is a reflection of their own behavior, when they understand that their actions have consequences, they will be left with nothing but the ashes of their own choices. It's a bitter pill to swallow, isn't it? To know that the world is now treating them the same way they treated others, to feel the sting of their own hypocrisy. The arrogance they once wore like armor will be their downfall, and the worst part is, they will have no one to blame but themselves. They had the chance to be better, to treat you with kindness, to show you respect, but they threw it all away for what? For power? For control? For the fleeting satisfaction of seeing you suffer? They sacrificed everything for nothing, and now they pay the price. The ones who thought they could walk all over you now find themselves tripping over their own lives. The ones who thought they could throw you away like trash now find themselves sifting through the ruins of their own mistakes. The ones who believed they could mistreat you without consequence now realize that every action has a price, and they are the ones left with the bill. Life has a way of showing people their true worth and the worth of the ones they discarded. They thought they could walk away without a care, without a second thought, but they didn't count on the fact that the universe remembers every slight, every act of cruelty. And now, they find themselves on the other side of it. They thought you would be the one to suffer. They thought you would be the one to break. They thought you would be the one to disappear into nothingness. But it's them who have disappeared into the void of their own making. It's them who are left struggling to find their way back. And let's not pretend they don't feel it. They feel the weight of their own actions heavy on their hearts. They feel the coldness of the world closing in on them. They feel the loneliness that comes with mistreating others. And while they once looked at you with disdain, now they look at themselves with shame. The mistreatment they once poured on you now seeps into their own lives. The people they once used, the people they once manipulated, they no longer have the same power over them. The world has shifted and the scales have balanced. They will never know peace until they face the truth of what they have done. They will never know peace until they understand that they cannot escape the consequences of their actions. They treated you with such disregard, and now they are the ones who suffer the consequences. They thought they could destroy you, but in doing so, they destroyed themselves. Their own cruelty has come back to haunt them, and they will spend the rest of their lives trying to escape the ghosts of their own actions. And this is where the irony lies. This is where the bitter truth comes in. While they suffer the consequences of their actions, you stand tall. You rise above it all. You are the one who emerges stronger, more powerful, more resilient. You are the one who walks through the flames and comes out the other side unscathed. They thought they could break you. They thought they could destroy you, but in doing so, they only made you stronger. They only fueled the fire within you. And now they are left to face the reality of their own mistakes while you move forward with a sense of purpose and strength that they will never understand. So let this be a lesson to them. Let this be a warning to anyone who thinks they can treat others with cruelty and disregard. Life has a way of balancing the scales. It has a way of showing people the true cost of their actions. And when they find themselves on the receiving end of that mistreatment, they will understand the weight of their own choices. The universe will always have the last word. And for those of you who have been mistreated, remember this. You are not the one who suffers in the end. You are not the one who loses. You are the one who rises. You are the one who becomes stronger, and you are the one who walks away victorious. They thought they could treat you like you were nothing, but in doing so, they sealed their own fate. Now they must live with the consequences of their own actions while you move forward with your head held high. The world has a way of balancing the scales, and the price for their cruelty is one they will never escape. It's not just the pain they've caused you that haunts them. It's the awareness, the deep realization that what they did to you will echo through every moment of their lives. They might try to bury it, to ignore it, to convince themselves that they are free from the consequences. But deep down, they will always carry the weight of their actions. That guilt, that discomfort, it's a shadow that will never leave them, no matter how far they run. They might find temporary distractions, momentary comforts, but when the night falls, When they are alone with their thoughts, they will know the truth. They cannot escape the cost of what they have done. You see, life has a way of ensuring that no misdeed goes unaccounted for. There are no shortcuts, no magic tricks that can make the consequences disappear. The wounds they inflicted on you, the hurt they caused with their careless words and actions, it may have taken time to manifest, but eventually it catches up to them. Every cruel word they spoke, every heartless action they took, it becomes a stain on their soul, an indelible mark that no amount of self-deception can erase. The price for their cruelty is not just something they'll pay once, it's something they will pay over and over again, in the small, subtle ways that people who truly suffer do. And don't think for a second that they won't feel it. They will feel it in the relationships they try to build after they've torn you apart. They will feel it when trust slips through their fingers like sand, because no matter how many times they pretend to change, their heart has been hardened by the damage they've done. They will feel it when the people they try to manipulate or control see through them, when their lies no longer hold weight. The consequence of treating others with disdain is not just a temporary discomfort, it is a lifelong erosion of trust, of connection. When you betray people, when you hurt them, when you leave them behind without a second thought, you destroy the very foundation of human interaction. And that is something you cannot rebuild with time. They might try to justify it. They might tell themselves that they were in the right, that they had no other choice, that you deserved it somehow. But no lie they tell themselves will make the truth go away. Deep down, they will know that their actions were wrong. They will know that they played a part in the suffering of another, and they will know that no matter how much they try to bury it under excuses, the damage is done. They cannot run from it. They cannot hide from it. They will wear their mistakes as a heavy cloak that weighs them down, as a constant reminder of their inability to act with integrity and respect. The cost of that is not just the loss of others, but the loss of themselves. They will wake up each day with a fractured sense of who they are, knowing that they have destroyed something precious in the process of trying to gain something that wasn't theirs to begin with. And the irony is, they thought they could get away with it. They thought they were above the law of human decency, above the very rules of empathy and respect that govern how we treat one another. They believed they could take, and in the end, nothing would come back to bite them. They thought that by cutting you down, they could climb higher, that by stepping on you, they could walk over the bodies of others to reach the top. But now, they are faced with the harsh reality that they did not simply hurt you. They hurt themselves in ways they cannot even comprehend yet. They have built a prison for themselves with the walls of their own cruelty, and there is no way out. They might pretend they are unaffected. They might even lash out in defense of their actions. But deep down, they know. They know they are trapped in the consequences of their own making. And the worst part for them, the most torturous part of all, is that they will never know the satisfaction of redemption. Redemption is a concept that requires honesty, humility, and a willingness to change. It requires the kind of self-awareness that allows someone to see their wrongs, to make amends, to acknowledge the damage they've done, and to take steps to fix it. But for those who are incapable of that, for those who refuse to look at the mirror and see their reflection clearly, there can be no redemption. There is no path back to the trust they once had. They have burnt those bridges, shattered those connections, and in the process, they've built an insurmountable wall between themselves and any form of healing. You might look at them and you might feel anger or hurt or even sadness for the way they treated you. But let me tell you this, their cruelty was not just a crime against you, it was a crime against themselves. They didn't just hurt you, they hurt their own future, their own peace of mind, and they crippled their ability to experience genuine connection. with anyone ever again. The path they walked, the choices they made, have left them barren, and no amount of material success, no number of empty relationships can fill that void. They will never find peace until they face what they have done, and they will never fully face it because their pride, their arrogance, will keep them blind. But you are different. You are not the one who will suffer for eternity. You are not the one who is bound by the chains of guilt and regret. You are the one who will walk away stronger, better, wiser. You are the one who will rise from the ashes of their cruelty, and you will not just survive, you will thrive. The strength they thought they would break, the spirit they tried to crush, is the very thing that will carry you forward. While they stay stuck in the mess they've created for themselves, you will be free. You will be free because you didn't allow their mistreatment to define you. You will be free because in the face of their cruelty, you found a deeper part of yourself, a part of you that is unshakable, unbreakable. You are free because unlike them, you are willing to confront your truth, to grow, and to evolve beyond the pain they cause. And what does this all mean? It means that the true power lies with you. The ones who treated you with cruelty thought they had control. They thought they were the ones in power, the ones calling the shots. But in the end, they have lost everything. And you are the one who has gained. You have gained strength, you have gained wisdom, and you have gained a clarity that they will never know. You are the one who has emerged victorious, not because you sought revenge, but because you chose to rise above it all. You chose to learn from their mistreatment and use it to fuel your own growth, to fuel your own journey. They will continue to pay for what they've done, but you will move on. You will not allow their darkness to taint your light. You will not allow their hatred to break your spirit. You will rise higher and higher, and as you do, they will be left behind in the shadows of their own actions, unable to catch up to the peace and purpose you have found. The universe, in all its wisdom, has balanced the scales. They will never escape the price for their cruelty, and you will be the one to walk away from it all, stronger, wiser, and free. And while they wallow in the wreckage of their own making, you will carry with you something they can never possess: peace. Not the shallow, fleeting peace that comes from temporary distractions, not the kind that is built on the superficial comforts of success or validation. No, the peace you will carry is far deeper, far more enduring. It is the peace that comes from knowing who you are, from recognizing your worth, and from understanding that no matter how many times they tried to bring you down, you stood your ground. You chose to rise. In the face of their cruelty, you learned the most important lesson of all. Your value does not depend on the way others treat you. You're not defined by their disregard, nor are you shaped by their attempts to diminish you. You are defined by your own strength, by the quiet resilience that allowed you to endure their cruelty without breaking. You are defined by your ability to rise from the ashes, to rebuild yourself stronger after each blow, and to walk away from those who once thought they could control your fate. While they remain caught in the cycle of their own mistakes, grasping at anything to distract themselves from the guilt and shame that gnaws at them, you will be free. You will be free because you have learned to let go of the pain, to release the anger, and to accept that what they did to you is not your burden to carry. It was theirs to bear, and they will bear it for as long as they refuse to acknowledge the truth of their actions. But you have the wisdom to know that holding on to resentment only weighs you down. You have the clarity to see that your peace comes not from their acknowledgement of their wrongs, but from your own ability to forgive, if not them, then yourself, for allowing them to have power over your emotions for so long. They may try to reach out to you, they may try to rebuild the bridges they burned, but you will see it for what it is, desperation. They will attempt to find some semblance of redemption, but there is no redemption in their hands. Their hearts have been hardened by years of dishonesty, of manipulation, of cruelty, and no amount of regret will cleanse them of that. You will not fall for their empty apologies, their hollow promises. You will see through their attempts, not out of spite, but out of understanding. You understand now what it means to be free of their influence, to be free of the hold they once had over you. You will no longer allow their words to have the power to wound you. They will no longer be able to manipulate your emotions, to twist your sense of self-worth with their disdain or their indifference. Your worth is no longer tied to their validation, nor will you ever again allow yourself to be trapped in the cycle of proving your value to those who never deserved your time, your energy, or your love in the first place. You have broken free from the chains of their mistreatment, and you will never allow them to control your narrative again. While they stand in the ruins of their relationships, wondering where it all went wrong, you will be moving forward. You will be surrounded by people who truly value you, who see you for the person you are, not for what you can give them or how they can use you. They will appreciate the real you, the one who has learned to protect their heart, the one who has learned to set boundaries and demand respect. These are the relationships that will sustain you. These are the connections that will fuel your growth, and they are the ones you will cherish. Unlike the hollow connections they have forged through manipulation and deceit, your relationships will be built on trust, mutual respect, and love. You will learn that the greatest freedom is not just walking away from the ones who mistreated you, but walking toward the people who are worthy of your time and energy. You will also recognize that their suffering, their downfall, is not a victory to be celebrated, but a lesson to be learned. It is a reminder that cruelty breeds nothing but more cruelty. It's a bitter cycle that destroys not just the victim, but the perpetrator as well. They may think that their power lies in their ability to hurt others, to belittle and manipulate those around them, but what they fail to realize is that their true weakness lies in their inability to see their own faults. They cannot see that every time they hurt someone, every time they trample on another human being, they are also hurting themselves, slowly eroding their own sense of self-worth and integrity. And this is where the universe has them cornered. They cannot escape the consequences of their actions, no matter how hard they try. They may look for temporary distractions, for quick fixes to soothe their guilt, but the truth remains. They are trapped in a cycle they themselves created. As for you, you have broken that cycle. You have stepped off the path of bitterness and resentment, and you have chosen a better way. Your strength comes not from your ability to get revenge, but from your ability to forgive, whether or not they deserve it. Your freedom comes not from watching them suffer, but from letting go of the hold their mistreatment had on you. And in this, you have unlocked a power greater than anything they could ever understand. You have taken the power back into your own hands. You have chosen your peace. There will be moments when doubt creeps in. There will be times when you wonder if you made the right decision in walking away, when you question whether or not they truly deserve to be left behind. You will wonder if you could have changed things, if there was more you could have done to save the relationship. But let me remind you of something. No one can treat you like you are worthless and expect to keep you in their life forever. You deserve more than empty apologies. You deserve more than someone who only reaches out when it suits them. You deserve more than someone who cannot see the value in you until they've lost it. These are the lessons you will carry with you, not just today, but for the rest of your life. You are not here to beg for someone's love or approval. You are not here to convince people of your worth. You are here to live your life, to experience growth, to build a future that is rooted in self-respect, in love, in understanding. You will find that the more you stand in your truth, the more you walk away from those who treated you poorly, the more you will attract the right people into your life, people who will love you for who you are, who will respect you for what you've been through, and who will lift you up rather than tear you down. And here's the most important part of it all. When you walk away from them, when you step into the life that awaits you, you will understand that it wasn't just them who lost something. You are no longer the person you were when they first mistreated you. You are not the same. You are stronger, wiser, and more self-assured. And that is the true victory. Because while they might look at their losses and see only regret, you will look at your life and see endless possibilities. The freedom you have gained is a gift that no one can ever take from you. And as you move forward, you will be reminded every day that the strength to walk away from people who treat you poorly is one of the greatest forms of self-love. And in the end, that's what they could never understand. That's what they failed to see. Their cruelty didn't just break you, it made you. It forged you into a stronger version of yourself. And while they stay trapped in their web of deceit and regret, you will be free. Free to live your life on your own terms. Free to love and be loved without fear. Free to rise above everything they ever did to you. They may have thought they had the power, but the true power lies with you. You are the one who has endured. You are the one who has learned. And you are the one who will walk away from it all, stronger, wiser, and free. In the end, their cruelty has not defeated you. It has shaped you into someone stronger, wiser, and more resilient. While they remain trapped in the consequences of their actions, you are free. Free to live, to love, and to rise above the past. You've learned the most important lesson. Your worth is not defined by how others treat you, but by how you treat yourself. Walk forward with confidence, knowing that the strength to move on, to let go, and to thrive is the greatest victory of all. You are free, and that freedom is a power no one can take from you. In the end, their cruelty has not defeated you. It has shaped you into someone stronger, wiser, and more resilient. While they remain trapped in the consequences of their actions, you are free. Free to live, to love, and to rise above the past. You've learned the most important lesson. Your worth is not defined by how others treat you, but by how you treat yourself. Walk forward with confidence, knowing that the strength to move on, to let go, and to thrive is the greatest victory of all. You are free, and that freedom is a power no one can take from you.